Hello Apex Raiders, this is a tutorial on how to use weakORs 2 to track debuffs and various things. For the most part, you're going to be importing them from strings that the Trail or I will put on the forums so that you're using a specific string. But I'm also going to show you how to do some modifications and a basic debuff tracker for like a boss debuff or something that you have to be notified, be aware of. So download the add-on, put it in your add-ons folder. I'm sure everybody knows how to do that. And then you're going to type /WA. Now, it looks daunting. This is all of my weakORs for my Druid. So we're going to turn all of these off. You just hit this little view button here at the top, which says loaded view. Hit it once. And if you hit it where eye is shut, they all disappear. Okay. Now we're on the new here. Okay. For the most part, if you're going to be creating them, stick with icons for the beginning, and then you can get to something else later. You can mess with some of these other ones later and kind of play with them. But you click on icon. Okay. And what the debuff we're going to be interested in making today is going to be for Shav Pride. We're going to just do one for Wounded Pride. It's the tank debuff there. It's one that I know of. And I'll leave this up here so you guys can see it. Now, you notice the moment we did that, it put an icon down here. It says new, so we'll call this Wounded Pride. And hit enter. And it's right here in the middle of our screen right now. And I can drag and I can move it wherever I want. Now, for the sake of this, I'm going to put it like right up here where we can see it, right? Right over here. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to trigger here. We're going to go to our tab here. And this is when does it turn on? That's what they're asking there, okay? Now, you can have more than one reason that it would turn on. Maybe there's more than one thing, or when you start embedding them, it gets a little more, you can start to a little more advanced user stuff. But for the most part here, what you're looking for is an aura, because it's a buff or a debuff, right? Okay, and the name of the buff for the debuff is Wounded Pride. Okay, and okay. Now it instantly changed the icon name, the icon look, and that's because Wounded Pride happens to have a certain icon, and so it looked it up for you. Now don't worry about that. If you want to make it look like a bunny, you can. It doesn't matter. There's a way to change it. In this case, we're interested when Wounded Pride is on the player, and it's a debuff. It's not a buff. Okay. Now you scroll down here. You have some other options. Remaining time, maybe I'm only interested when it's a certain amount of time or when it's at 2 stacks. Maybe only my own buff, but that's not in this case. This is a debuff a boss puts on. Now to actually make this useful, what I would do here is I'm not interested in when I have Wounded Pride. I'm interested when Dio has Wounded Pride. So I would say not player. I would say specific unit, and I would type Dionyx. Okay, and it still stays the same. Okay, no big deal there. So we're done with this. It's going to trigger every single time Wounded Pride is on Dionyx as a debuff. It's going to pop up on my screen. That's what it's going to do. Okay, and then load. It says, when are we even going to load? When does this even have the option of being turned on? Like, do you want this on when you're on your level 10 alt? Probably not, right? So I only want it on when I'm in combat. When I'm playing, we'll say a Druid, and when I am Guardian Spect, and I am in a, etc. You can pick when it turns on and when it isn't. Okay. Actions here, this is when this button would show up. So when Dio would get Wounded Pride, do I want it to do something? For instance, maybe I want it to play a sound. Okay, so I want it to play the air horn or something, whatever it is, kitten meow, ringing phone, etc. Okay, I could have it pick any one. Now, you can't hear them because I have my sound turned off, but trust me, it's meowing and sirening up all the time. Or maybe I want it to play a sound when it gets hidden. And so you can do it there like that too. So when it would disappear, that's when it would do it. Okay, and then this is animations. So animations, this is start. So when it appears, do you want it to go to preset? Do you want it to bounce or fade in or slide from the left to the right when it comes in? And the same ones appear down here for finish. And maybe when it's actually on your screen, you want it to do something so that it gets your attention. Maybe you want it to bounce or pulse. Pulse is good. There you go. So it's going to pulse. All right. And, not custom. None. There you go. And then the last thing here, so I've gone over all these, is display. So that's automatic icon. It'll be there. If you unclick that, you can name an icon. So maybe you just say bunny. And you're going, oh, where's the bunny? Oh, there it is. Okay, I want it to be a bunny when I do it. So there it is. There's a rabbit. Okay, so that's the name of the icon there. Now, this text here, that's the text you see in the bottom right here. Okay, it's a 1. It's the stacks because it says %s, and you go to that chart there, it says stacks. I'm probably not interested in that. I probably want to know the progress, which you go to the top there. It says %p is progress. It's the remaining time on a timer. So we'll do that. Remaining time. You see it's changed over here now. Now we're going to make this icon really annoying. I need to make it to where I'm going to see it no matter what's going on when there's fire to stand in and people yelling at each other and everything else. So I'm going to put the words in the let's say the bottom center, by just the bottom there. Okay. We're going to make it really big on the words. That's the size there. You can change the font. You can even change the decimal points. So there you go. So it doesn't have many left. And then the other thing I'm going to do is take this icon and make it a lot bigger. So we're going to make it 150. And hit enter. And height 150. Hit enter. There you go. A giant rabbit in the middle of my screen. So when Dio would get the Wounded Pride debuff, a big rabbit would appear in the middle of my screen, and I would know that I had to taunt off him, else his corruption would go up. That's the basics of Weak Aura. The other thing is down here, this is inherited and all this stuff. This is only important when you get a little more advanced, but basically if you're going to put a Weak Aura, like an icon like this on top of another one, this tells them which order they go in. So the low one would be under the medium one, which would be under the high one. If you have questions about that, I'm sure anybody that uses the add-on all the time can help you out with that. And now I'll show you kind of how it reacts and what it does. So I won't be able to show you this one because Shav Pride is not standing in front of me, and neither is Dio. So I can't help you with that, but I can show you my other normal combat ones. So close that. Put a bear, and we'll enter combat. Okay, so right now it's saying it's grayed out, it's there, see there, now Mangle's available. I can click that. If I lacerate, it shows I have 1 stack with 13 seconds remaining. I should Mangle again. I should lacerate, Mangle again, and thrash. And so this is how I track my debuffs when I'm on bosses and things. So, you see the basics there, but basically they're spiraling in, flashing, and spiraling out. Oh, see, now these are getting low, so they're dancing at me. There you go. So you can see how this is very useful for rotational elements and how I use it, but also when you have something really big on the screen. Like, maybe this here, which is my big tank cooldown, or this, which is if I'm farming and I'm using a luck potion. Then when it gets towards the end, it counts down and starts yelling at me, so I don't run around and kill things without that on. You can use it for literally any buff or debuff or any sort of text thing that's there. So yet again, if you have any questions, comments, you can send them to me, send them to Trill, send them to somebody else that uses the add-on. I'm sure we'll give you a hand with it. But for the most part, what you'll be doing is going here to import. Okay, this is probably the most important part. You'll be going to import. You'll click there, and there'll be a whole mess of gibberish letters that we'll give you and numbers and everything. You'll just paste them in here and hit done. And all that work that I just did to make some of these add-ons like that, or make this one like here, it'll already be done for you. You just have to move it. So, hope this was helpful for everybody. Have a good one.